if you have watched my video where I filmed myself using the Epino while I was pregnant with my son, you're probably curious about what kind of results I got from that. So nothing is held back anymore. I'm going to tell you all about it in today's video. But first, if you're pregnant and new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and press the notification bell below so you don't miss any of my future releases. All right, to start with, I want to say that I started using the Epino around 34 weeks of pregnancy, and I got into labor at 38 weeks. So that was basically 4 weeks of practice with the Epino, and I used it about twice a week. So, that means I used it probably 7 or 8 times before giving birth. The first time I used the Epino, I was able to get to 6 centimeters. So I don't mean to brag, but it's quite decent results for a first time. And by the third time using it, I was already at 8 centimeters. And anything between 8 and 10 centimeters is our final goal. So I was like, okay, I've already achieved my goal and it's the third time using it. So I was pretty proud of myself. So because I had already achieved my goal by the third session, I decided to use it only once or twice a week until birth, just for maintenance purposes. However, for anyone who would not have achieved their goal, I would still recommend to use it 4 to 5 times a week until birth, just to make sure you don't run out of time to achieve your final goal before baby comes. Now, I shared with you that I had gestational diabetes during my pregnancy, and because of that, there's higher chances of having a big baby. So for that reason, I had regular ultrasounds in my third trimester to follow baby's size. At my 32 weeks ultrasound, my baby's weight was estimated to be around the 95th percentile and his head size was around the 90th percentile. So I knew that my baby was likely to be a bigger size baby at birth, so that really kept my motivation super high to keep using the Epino all the way until birth. Another thing I did to practice for birth was to try and push the Epino out while breathing and relaxing my pelvic floor, just to get used to that sensation. I must say that when I got to 8 centimeters, it was quite stingy to push it out. So I found that if I was lying on my side instead of on my back, it was a little more comfortable to do so, and I was able to stay more relaxed. So I would definitely recommend to try that if you're having a hard time propped up in bed on your back. And I also found that lying on my side, I was able to hold the Epino in place much better because, by the third trimester, my bump was really big and it was hard to reach that down there area and hold the Epino in place. So anyway, my baby ended up weighing 9 pounds and 6 ounces, which is over 4 kilos, and his head circumference was around 36.5. So the ultrasound was right, he was definitely on the bigger side. And guess what? I ended up with just a minor second-degree tear, which I was blown away with, honestly. I just thought with his size that I would have torn much more. I only required a few stitches. And I remember the medical team was quite impressed too. They were like, what did you do? And I said, well, I used my Epino. So I'm definitely happy that I've used it. And I think it played a major difference in my birth outcomes. That tear healed super well. I don't even have any scar tissue issues from it. Although I did have to massage the scar tissue postpartum to make sure that it was moving well. And I show all these techniques in this video if you're interested in that. But most importantly, and I think this is really the takeaway message from that video, is that I walked into the birth room confidently, knowing that I could do this no matter how big my baby was. And I could have totally been terrified and scared just having had that last ultrasound saying that maybe my baby was over the 95th percentile in weight. But instead, I was excited to meet my little one. So I think if there's anything, this is gold, and I would definitely use the Epino again if I had to give birth to a second baby. Now, the Epino was not the only tool I used to boost my confidence for labor, and I teach all of these tools in my signature program to help mamas prepare physically for an empowering birth. So if you're interested in my program, apply on a discovery call with me in the description below, and we'll see if we're a fit to work together. So if we wrap things up here, would I still recommend the Epino for my clients? 100%. I think it's a great tool to boost your confidence for birth while reducing your risk of severe tearing. So when we talk about severe tearing, we're talking about 3rd and 4th degree tears. And I also think it empowers pregnant people to be independent with their perineal stretching, which, is not the case when you have to ask your partner to do a manual stretch, which I show in this video. Because sometimes it just doesn't work for people. Either they're not comfortable asking their partner to do it, either their partner is not at home a lot, so they can't really do a regular stretch. So the Epino makes you independent with your stretch, which is awesome. If you have any other questions about how I use the Epino, feel free to post them below, and thanks for watching.